Goku Black sucks.
Redheadher, how can this be? How can Goku Black suck? He's an edgy, evil version of Goku who is black and has a cool ring. His deep Goku voice gives me goosebumps on my backside. He can pink hair with his forms and becomes two-faced by the end of the saga. His raging boner for destroying all mortals is the freshest content I've ever seen with my naked eyeballs. How dare you say this glorious motherfucker sucks? My favorite character is ruined because of what you say. My feelings are so cracked I've become an addict of sadness.
Yo, what's happening, redheads? This is Jason Henry, the Redhead Henry, and in today's video we are going to talk about Goku Black and why I believe the direction with this wasted character was god-awful and could have been so much better. Before we begin, if you enjoy Dragon Ball content and fan fiction animations, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, and give this video a like for more Dragon Ball related content. It helps out the channel big time, and I would love to engage with you guys down in the comments section. Please ensure you leave a comment with your opinions on this video. Small disclaimer, if what I say in this video upsets or offends you,
stop yourself.
Dragon Ball is just a show and this is my opinion. If you disagree with what I am saying, explain why you disagree with it in the comment section below. And now let's pick up this Super Saiyan paintbrush and paint ourselves a happy little Goku Black cloud. When it was announced that we were getting an Evil Goku arc, I of course was ecstatic. As I have talked about before in my videos on this channel, I'm best known for the red and gray Evil Goku fan fiction character that I created back in 2009. And this became the staple look for what an evil version of Goku would look like and become the most popular. The idea and concept of an evil Goku doubleganger had been done before, both by Toei and in fan fiction, but I would argue that my variant of Evil Goku is one of the most well-known and iconic for its simple, silly recolor, as it has been used not only in my animations, but for over a decade has been modded into games, used in other animations, artwork, and was drawn on for inspiration for the Goku clone and arguably Goku Black. And while I could easily talk about and compare my Evil Goku variant to Goku Black all day, that's not what this video is about. But it is one that I have done in the past, so if you want to check that video out, I will leave you a link to it down below. So let's dive into what the fuck happened to Goku Black. The first few episodes that featured Goku Black were pretty fucking stellar. The ruthless evil nature of watching this badass boss stand over a fiery landscape and look down upon Trunks was very eye-catching. And of course, we all ate it up like a dog scarfing down a slush mix of banana bread. These first few episodes that introduced us to Goku Black were some of the best episodes in Dragon Ball Super in my opinion. The saga slowly starts to tank as it progresses and we uncover more about who is Goku Black, his motives, and the direction the arc was taken as a whole. After years of wanting to see Goku fight an evil version of himself, and no, I don't mean these guys, I mean an actual version of Goku from a different timeline or universe who is evil or savage or more badass than Goku is, but instead we ended up ultimately getting this guy. Just an evil Kai using Goku's body for justice and destroying mortals. Let's start out with the first couple of issues. Why was Black put in the future Trunks timeline? I mean, yeah, we know the lore reasons why, and of course anyone can craft a story as to why it makes sense, but the only real reason why they would put Black in the future Trunks timeline is to actually bring back future Trunks. Couldn't leave well enough alone, could you, Toei? Future Trunks had his story. He went back to his timeline, defeated the androids and his version of Cell, and he got his happy ending. But no, for nostalgia bait, we bring him back, and just like every other character in Dragon Ball Super who was either killed or had no reason to be brought back, you gotta get those toy sales up, and hook our interest by bringing back old characters. That's the first issue I have with the entire Goku Black arc as a whole. Goku Black shouldn't have been in any way related or tied into the future Trunks timeline. And while one could argue, well, this is just a different direction and we got Trunks back and whatever other reason you want to throw out, it's not the direction I would have gone simply for bringing back future Trunks, killing his mother, ruining his Earth again, and shipping him with Mai. But ultimately, the reason they bring him back is not only to hook us with nostalgia bait, but it's to do what Super does best. give him a new ass-pull form. And while yes, it was cool to see future Trunks and his future again, this wouldn't have been the direction I would have gone. I would have done a completely separate movie, or saga, or spin-off show for future Trunks, and not had Goku Black tied into it in any way. Shit, I think it would have been better just to do a 3-part miniseries that shows Trunks being approached by Supreme Kai and fighting off Deborah. I'll leave it at that, but let us continue. The Goku Black saga, as I mentioned earlier, started out pretty strong, but declined as we went on, which brings me to my next point.
Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black.
I really dislike this form, and I think you know why. Because it's a recolor, and another way to bait young viewers and fans with flashy, colorful transformations to boost toy sales. And yeah, it works too. Super is just a front for adding more colors to transformations, which is why they bring back old villains and give them new transformations, so they can have some new recolored form to drive sales. Dragon Ball Super should really be called Dragon Ball Colors, or Dragon Ball Recolors. Hell, let's go old school. We'll call it Dragon Ball C. I get it. Goku Black's God Ki, mixed in with Super Saiyan and him being evil and whatnot, changes the color. I completely understand. It's easy to write in explanations for shit invented to drive sales and attract viewers. The Rose form is unique to Goku Black, and with the birth of this form, this is where the saga would start to decline. Goku Black's relation to Zamasu is what killed Goku Black, and was just poorly executed. Why did Goku Black need to be a corrupt Kai, just wanting to purge all of humanity? I feel like they were trying to write in some creative way to make Goku Black interesting, so they decided to invent a corrupt Kai who is really the face behind the mask of Goku. So Goku Black isn't really an evil Goku, because he isn't really Goku. It's all Zamasu. It's Goku's body, but it's a Kai's mind and consciousness that makes this Goku evil. He isn't truly an evil Goku. It's just a Kai. Every time I see Goku Black, the only image in my mind is this. Let me propose a hypothetical. What if Zamasu didn't exist, and Goku Black was actually Goku, who just didn't hit his head and retained himself as Kakarot? He would grow stronger with the aid of his Saiyan allies, and they would all eventually take over and destroy Frieza and his army, becoming stronger as time went on, only to eventually somehow come into contact with Goku and the Z-Squad through some anomaly or some other story plot that would unite these two characters together. Here's another good one. What if some individual grabbed hold of the Dragon Balls and wished for Goku to become evil, or somehow corrupted Goku? Then the Z-Squad would have to face down their own corrupted leader and figure out a way to stop him. I'm sure many other fanfiction writers or YouTubers have done this already, but I'm saying there could have literally been any other story written to introduce us to an actual evil variant of Goku. The relation of Goku Black and Zamasu was not the direction I would have gone, and I don't think I would have gone in the same direction I originally set out in my animations either. I'm simply saying that as badass as Goku Black started out to be, in the end he was ultimately this guy, and that's a major letdown, because he is not Goku. He's just this guy dressed up in a Goku meat suit. Don't let that deep Goku voice and bright pink hair fool you, this is all Zamasu. Speaking of his voice, did anyone else notice his speeches? Goku Black seemed to go on and on about slaughtering mortals and whatnot, versus the first few episodes where he is introduced to us, he's just this badass. It's more so the fact that Zamasu is this pompous, emotional ass, and that he comes through Goku Black. You know, I think after it was revealed that Goku Black was Zamasu, I think he wanted to run for president, as he just kept giving more and more ridiculous speeches, trying to win us over with his Zero Mortal plan. Goku Black didn't start out like that. It's almost like Goku Black before he is revealed as Zamasu was one character, but then after the reveal, he is indeed another completely different character. That's why I say the Goku Black arc started out so good but then declined into a pile of garbage. These two characters are not the same. One is a badass and the other is running for president, ready to impose his Zero Mortal plan tax cut on the universe. Something else I didn't like about the Goku Black saga itself is that they took Goku Black and used him not just to be Goku's conflict, but also Trunks's and Vegeta's. The conflict of Black in addition to Zamasu was spread out across multiple characters. In one instance, Goku is fighting Black, the next it's Vegeta, then Trunks, and then Vegeta, and then back to Goku. It just keeps going back and forth the whole arc. The whole point of having an evil doubleganger is that the battle is on the outside and the inside. It should spark deep emotional conflict as seeing yourself as someone else entirely and trying to reason with not just that person, but a part of yourself. Not to toot my own horn here, but as someone who has animated evil Goku for years and understands this concept of evil doublegangers well, the struggle, conflict, and tension should be kept between the doubleganger and the person that doubleganger represents. This would drive further character development as the primary hero has to reflect and see things in his double that he may have deep within himself, given the right circumstances. And while yes, you could have Goku Black fight other characters here and there, in my opinion, he does so in the entire saga way too much. And you get this shift from Goku versus Goku Black to everyone fighting Goku Black while Goku focuses on Zamasu. I would have kept the conflict strictly between Goku and Goku Black, as this would serve as a way to go deep into Goku's character and have him explore other aspects of himself as he is confronted with another version of himself. You could even take this a step further and have the evil version be impacted emotionally by having to fight a good version of himself as well, which again would cause even more great storytelling through their struggles of fighting each other. But see, of course, Goku Black isn't really Goku, so Goku isn't really fighting himself as I mentioned earlier. So you lose that critical aspect of what could have been a great story, and what would have really progressed Goku's character, or at the very least could have made for some great drama and dialogue exchanges between the two had Black actually been Goku from another universe. Like I said before, I would have made Goku Black not been a Kai, and I would have actually made him Goku, but just had a different set of events that transpired in his life, making him evil, cunning, and ruthless, which would have made the conflict and tension between Goku and his doubleganger so much deeper and personal, as Goku is fighting himself had things just gone a little different in his life. Maybe I would have stuck these two characters in a place where they were trapped, so they were forced to confront each other without any aid or influence, which would cause even more character reflection and conflict. Here's my last point, which is more geared towards anime in general, but something this saga in particular did a lot of. I'll kick this off by saying that there is an abundance of explanations needed in this saga. For instance, the whole concept of time rings and the time paradox that was caused by Trunks going back in time and whatnot. Why did this need to be revisited? Which goes back to my point from before, why did we need future Trunks brought back? They could have just moved on, but instead we get time rings, which is used as a way to explain things. Has anyone else noticed how virtually in every anime there is this never-ending need to stress on explaining things? And why yes, you need to visually or through actions or dialogue explain story and events. Almost all anime does this to the extreme. They spend entire episodes on just explaining shit without pushing the story forward. It's almost like a pause or a break from the story. In some episodes, we have two characters fight for 5 minutes, and then the two characters break, and they spend the rest of the episode explaining to each other and to us why one character punched the other in his foot instead of his ear. And while I'm not really complaining about this, this is what anime has always been. But half of the Goku Black arc is all explanations, explaining Zamasu's motives, by beating it to death 100 times mentioning the Zero Mortal Plan, explaining the time rings, explaining time travel, explaining Trunks, explaining T, explaining all of these things that could have been left either untouched or just simply briefly touched on, while a stronger emphasis could have been spent on the character growth or conflict between characters. We don't need an answer to every little thing or an over-explanation. This is why the phrase, "show don't tell," is so powerful. Instead, in this arc, we get show and then tell us for an entire episode's worth of reasons as to why that was shown. But as I said, anime does this a lot, so that one can understand what's happening. But I felt like this whole saga was just one big explanation with fights sprinkled throughout it. And while this doesn't really connect to Goku Black specifically, it does bring down the saga as a whole and in effect ruin Goku Black. Goku Black to me is just wasted potential, similar to Dragon Ball Super in general. We get glimpses of how badass he started out, but then he slowly is ruined over the course of the arc. Goku Black is not Goku, he is this guy, which took out a lot of really, really good potential conflict, dialogue, and character growth that we could have seen. And in addition, if he really was Goku from another universe, we could have had an epic backstory to how the events of this hypothetical evil Goku could have gone, crafting him into this evil, raging menace that he could have been. But this is why we have fan fiction, to take these ideas that Dragon Ball and other shows present to us and then craft our own stories out of them. Goku Black should serve as an example of what could have been a great villain, but was ruined by a poorly written story for the character. Too many things were happening in the saga as a whole that shadowed how great it could have been. My friends, as always, I love Dragon Ball, and everything I have said here in this video is from the heart. My opinion is just that. So prove me wrong, or let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section if you agree with me or not. Stay humble, be honest, and I'll see you in the next video.